Hey there, boils and ghouls. I'm Mr. Macabre, and welcome back to my movie library. Just wanted to make a quick video. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm getting ready to go to work. Just had like a little stack of things, a tiny little stack of things that I picked up here. One of these things I got in the mail. The rest of them I was able to pick up with a little bit of store credit. I think, yeah, altogether, well, except for the one I got in the mail from Amazon. You'll see that in a second. But after the ones that I got with store credit, I spent maybe a total of $9. So that's not too shabby, I don't think. And really trying to go through my movies here. And I admit I've made that mistake. People have been doing videos recently. Jamie Toomey has definitely been doing them. And Phil with the double L made a video talking about, like when people just, and I admit I'm guilty of it. I'll be the very first one to admit I'm guilty of it. Throw me, put me in a cage, lock it up, throw away the key. I admit I'm guilty of it. I've bought a lot of movies over the years, because just, able to get them at good prices, stuff that I thought I was going to like, turns out I didn't like, or movies that I watched and, then like, yeah, that was a good one-time watch, but I don't ever see myself watching it again. So I've definitely been clearing out, getting rid of stuff that I know I'm never going to watch. Movies I know I'm never going to get around to watching, and just, I don't know why I picked them up. I admit it, I'm guilty. I've done it, And so, trying to get rid of that, and, that's the beauty of it. I really would be way more, if I didn't have, I got 2 stores in my area that I'm very lucky to have. If I wasn't able to have my record store, Zia Records, or Bookman's, where I could take this stuff and trade it in and get store credit and get discounts and everything on other stuff. If I didn't have that, I really would probably tone it the hell down and, really be way more selective about what I get. And my collection would be a lot smaller, but at least, I know I'm getting pretty much what I want. But anyway, so that, that little tangent over. I was able to get a few things I wanted, and I'm happy. Got rid of some of the stuff I don't want, and I'm not going to hang on to it. So first of all, this is what I got in the mail. Got this from Amazon, and I'm happy to have it. I'm always trying to get as many of these classic cartoons. Not so much the newer stuff. I'm not a fan of the newer ones, but the classics. But anyway, yeah, I got Looney Tunes, the Vault. Collector's Vault Volume 2. So, yeah. Whenever I could get the classic Looney Tunes cartoons in Blu-ray, high definition, I'm always going to go for it. Like I said, I'm not really a huge fan of modern day Looney Tunes. I'm gonna level with you. It's like, okay, I know this is probably blasphemy, but I am not a Space Jam fan. I'm sorry, I'm just not. It's just not my thing. And just newer Looney Tunes cartoons, no, I'm sorry, I'm just not into it. But, the classic vintage Looney Tunes, because that's what I grew up with. But, yeah. So, they're putting these out on high definition, and I do appreciate that they're putting, you got, like, characters that are considered, politically incorrect, but, you got Speedy Gonzales there, you got Pepe Le Pew. So it's really nice that we're getting these. And, there was a time I was terrified. That was one of the reasons why I made sure I held on to my DVD set for as long as I did, was because I was afraid, like some of these, like the Pepe Le Pew cartoons or Speedy Gonzales, I figured they were going to ban these and we would never see them, not in Blu-ray high definition. But I'm so grateful that we are getting these, and, they are releasing them uncensored, that they are saying, hey, here's the thing, they do put a warning on here saying, these cartoons, they're a product of their time, and, they're not politically correct, but you need to understand that, but to censor them with, I do not advocate erasing history. I really don't. Because, I think if we keep doing this thing, you keep seeing it all the time. They keep wanting to censor stuff and get rid of stuff. They want to rewrite history. They want to, change the race of certain characters, or not characters, but certain historical figures. And they want to change the gender of certain historical figures and stuff like that. You know, it's like future generations. Like if you did that, and you know, you just eradicated all of the real factual history, and then you swap it out with all this revisionist history. One day you're going to be sitting here like trying to talk to, you know, a younger generation about, civil rights or women's rights or something like that. They're not going to have a fucking clue what you're talking about. They're going to think you're nuts because they don't have the original history to look at, you know, to learn from. You know, they're going to have all this revisionist history. And so you're sitting here talking about, like, you know, black people's civil rights or women's rights or something. And they're like, what are you talking about? Everything I ever see, it's always, women are in charge, or, you know, like, well, this great historical figure, you know, was black. No, that character, keep saying character. No, that person was white. Well, no, that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing black, you know, and stuff. So, no, I am not a fan. I do not advocate for that in any shape, fashion, or form. I do not think we should ever be doing that. History needs to be learned from. You know, if we're ever going to advance, you know, history needs to be learned from. Okay, sorry about that. You know, yeah, just tangent over. But anyway, so yeah. So I'm just really, really happy that, you know, they are giving these cartoons, you know, we're getting them and they're uncensored and we're getting the real deal and, you know, in high definition. So it is really, really nice to be able to get these. And I'm super, super happy that getting these high definition, they look great. My God, I was watching them on my TV earlier. It's like, my God, I don't think I've ever, you know, it's like, I would be curious to see how these movies would look or these cartoons would look in 4K. But you know what? Even if they're like, sorry, Blu-ray is as good as it's ever going to get, you know what? I'm fine with that. You know, you should see, these look so amazing. I've never seen these cartoons look so good in all my life. They look so wonderful. But anyway, yeah. If you're a Looney Tunes fans, especially, you know, the classic Looney Tunes, I definitely recommend, yeah, pick these up. You know, get these in your collection. They're definitely worth it. Okay. So next up, I, you know, had some money. I had some store credit at my local record store. And I was able to pick up a couple of things. Now, these two I got, you know, no money out of pocket because, like I said, I had some store credit saved up. So first of all, really, really happy to finally get this, and I can't wait to rip it on my computer and start listening to it. We have the CD soundtrack of Superman the movie. Original motion picture soundtrack. Music composed and conducted by the man, the myth, the legend, John Williams. There we go. So happy to get that. Now, this is one of the best, most iconic movie soundtracks of all time. John Williams, pretty much every soundtrack he's ever done has been iconic. You know, just his music just always, no matter what, you know, like he always manages to find the perfect score for whatever movie he's working on. He just always manages to do it. And Superman, this is one of the absolute greatest movie scores ever in the history of ever, in my opinion. And, I mean, sure, yeah, it'd be great to have this on vinyl, but you know what? For right now, to have it on CD, I could rip it onto my, rip onto my computer, then put it on my phone and my tablet so I can have it to listen to. Hell yeah. I mean, theme from Superman, hell yeah. I am just so glad to get that. And like I said, thanks to store credit, no money out of pocket, so happy about that. So there we go. This one here, this is a Giallo that I have had on my wish list forever. I don't know why it's taking me so long. Just took forever for me to get going on this one. But I found it, and for no money out of pocket, I finally pulled the trigger on it and got it. And that is The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. Actually a pretty decent little Giallo. This is, obviously this is from Arrow. It didn't come in the black case. You guys know I like my black cases and stuff. And yeah, the case that this came in was quite a bit on the beat up side. So, this is the reversible artwork. That's the disc on the inside. There you go. That's the other one. Yeah, Barbara Boucher from Don't Torture a Duckling. So, Yeah, if you remember Don't Torture a Duckling, yeah, you remember Barbara Boucher's entrance into that film. You know, pretty much kind of the fake, was it Sun Lamp, naked, and all that stuff. So yeah, you remember Barbara Boucher's entrance into that movie. The story about this woman who, these two sisters, one of the sisters believes she is the Red Queen and the other sister is the Black Queen, and she has to kill, what was it, 7 people, and Barbara Boucher is the main character. And, I don't want to get too much into it, but if you're a Sybil Danning fan and you like, Sybil Danning nudity when she was, Sybil Danning in her absolute prime, you're going to want to see this, because, yeah, Sybil Danning, holy shit, yeah, just gorgeous as gorgeous can be, and Barbara Boucher, she's no slouch either, but yeah, pretty decent little, I had to admit, I admit when I watched the movie, I was a little bit thrown off, because I was like, wait a minute, there a couple of things I admit went over my head. So then when I watched, who was it? Stephen Thrower, I watched his. I haven't had the chance to watch the commentary yet with Alan Jones and Kim Newman. I'm looking forward to that. I always look forward to Kim Newman, but I watched the interview with Stephen Thrower, and he kind of lays it out. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it was. Okay, then kind of, I get it now. So, but yeah, I do love giallos, and I've definitely got my share of them. And this was one, it was like I remember, I think this came in like a 2-pack at one point. There was like a box set, if I remember. There was this one in the night Evelyn came out of the grave. And I remember years back, for like a birthday, I don't remember if it was a birthday present or a Christmas present. I asked my ex if she would get me Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. She picked me that up on Blu-ray. So I got that one, and for a long time, just I've been, kind of, hovering around this one and just never got around to it. And so now, thanks to, went in there, they had the Blu-ray, and, store credit, no money out of pocket. So I finally got it. So yeah. I hate to say it though, yeah, too, just, like, dude, you have store credit. Didn't they have anything else? Honestly, at the moment, no. I thought maybe I was going to be truly honest with you, I thought the record store was going to get in Salem's Law a little bit early, so I could get that a little bit earlier to check that out. And no, they didn't have it. And sometimes they get the arrows in like a week before, like the Amazon release date. And when I went in there and asked them, they're like, yeah, it's going to be like almost $55. I was, what? You gotta be kidding me. $55? And that's what we're going to charge for it. And it's like, that is insane, man. Because like right now, my Salem's Lot 4K just shipped from Amazon, and it's at $35.97, I want to say. 35 and change, and they wanted 55 for it. That was insane, man. And it's just like, no, that's okay. It's like, yeah, I'll wait a little bit longer and I'll get mine from Amazon. So, but anyway, so yeah, got this. So there we go. Glad to finally add the Red Queen killed 7 times to my giallo collection. Happy about that. There you go. As snug as a bug in a rug. So, this one here, I ran out because of the Superman and the, because of the Superman and the Red Queen. I only had $13 left in store credit. So this, I had to pay about $4 and change on. And I was curious about this. I heard other people talk about this movie. And so I was interested, and they had it. So, and I figured, it's only, I could use my $13 and only pay $4 to pick this up. And I'm glad I finally got it. And that is Malum. And I've heard about this movie. I was curious about it. For those of you that don't know, Malum is actually a remake of this movie, Last Shift. Now, if you've ever seen Last Shift, it's great. It's a great horror movie. It's scary. It's gory. It's atmospheric. I saw this movie on Netflix years ago, and I saw the Blu-ray. I had to have it. Just a great movie, and really enjoyed this. About this rookie cop. She's working the last shift in this police station is about to close down, and they had this murderous cult that was in there. And turns out like their spirits or they've done like satanic rituals inside this police station, and as the night goes on, you know, she's becoming more and more haunted and tormented by this evil cult and everything else, and just everything just goes off the wall. You know, great horror movie. If you've never seen Last Shift, I definitely recommend it. And then I heard about this movie, Malum, which is actually made by the exact same people that made Last Shift, because in the introduction to this Blu-ray, the director said that apparently they came to him and said, what would you think about basically revisiting the movie over again, and with a little bit more money, a little bit more time, and, you know, let's see what you come up with. And he took the challenge, and basically he remade his own movie. And so basically that's what you're getting. This is pretty much a remake of this. Only this one here is a little bit more open for, it's scope-wise, it's a little bit more opened up. You get like kind of a prologue at the beginning of the film that you didn't get with this one, because this movie just starts with the girl Jessica. Yeah, Jessica. You know, she's starting her shift, whereas this one, you know, you get some backstory about Jessica's father and kind of what leads Jessica to become a police officer and stuff like that. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, this movie is, you know, it's the same movie, but like I said, it's a little bit more open for scope and everything else. There's some more, there's a little bit more added extra into it. The only thing that I don't agree with is in the introduction to this, that the director said, you know, if you pick this one up, you don't need to watch this one anymore. You know, he's like, you know, yeah, just watch this, you'll be fine. You don't need this. No, I disagree. I still think that this is a very worthy movie, even if, you know, because there is nothing, you know, a horror fan loves more than a low-budget horror movie where the director did not have a lot of time, did not have a lot of money, you know, a ton of resources, and just had to try to make a good movie, you know, and make a great kind of underdog hero kind of thing. And that's what you got with Last Shift. So, you know, even though I got this, and this is, you know, this movie over again, but this has more money and a little bit more time put into it and stuff like that, I'm still going to keep this. I still really like this movie. I'm not getting rid of it. You know, I love the story. I love the premise, and I think I can, yeah, I don't need to pick one over the other. I can, you know, enjoy both films equally. But it is good, you know. It is good, but, you know, just be aware, you know, you are pretty much watching the same movie over again. It does have, you know, a slew of bonus features. Introduction by Anthony DiBlasi. Commentary by Anthony DiBlasi and Jessica Sola, who plays Jessica, the main character in the movie. Deleted extended scenes, newly created captions, 5.1 audio mix, theatrical trailer, blooper reel, reimagining The Last Shift, behind the scenes with cast, still gallery, text of Frightmare with cast and crew, and more. So you do get a bunch of bonus features, but, you know, this isn't exactly bare bones either. So, yeah, you get quite a few on here too. So, I would say if you're a fan of this movie, yeah, pick this movie up, but I would say keep both of them. And just one of these days, because that's one thing I was thinking about that too, is like, you know, I think what I'm going to do is probably here in a couple of days on my day off, I think I'm just going to back-to-back both of these movies just for the hell of it. You know, because I love the story so much. It's a good movie. So anyway, so yeah. So for $4 to get this, I don't think I did too shabby of a deal. So there you go. And last but not least, you guys have heard me say I'm not going out actively finding these, but if I come across them for a really good price, I will upgrade or get these. I'm slowly building my collection. And of course, you guys know I'm talking about Scream Factory Steelbooks. Picked up Piranha. Somebody, like, this just came out. I mean, this is just pretty recent. This just came out. Somebody bought this and immediately sold it off. And if you see there, it says $15. Hopefully you can see it. It says $15. I actually, I got this at my record store, and I had about $10 worth of store credit to pick this up. So I ended up only paying $5 for this. So, but that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Is like people, I don't get why they're. I mean, yeah, keep doing it because then I can turn around and get them for, dirt cheap prices. I can build my Scream Factory 4K Steelbook collection, but yeah, but I don't get it. People are like they're buying these and just. I guess they're buying these just to say that they have them and then just turn around immediately getting rid of them. But Piranha, great movie. Great Jaws ripoff. There's the other side too. So see, yeah, it kind of all makes for one giant picture there. This is my little booklet. This is my little booklet. I've held on to this forever. I got this years and years ago when I bought the DVD of Piranha. It came with the DVD. Came with this little insert, and I've always kept it. I just always held on to it, and no reason not to keep it in my 4K Steelbook. There's a 4K disc and the Blu-ray. So got that. Kevin McCarthy's death scene where he's saving the little boy on the raft. And we got I guess that's just a random actor. I don't think that's Belinda Pulaski's character. But anyway, so yeah, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, keep doing it because then I can turn around getting these at really dirt cheap prices. And, I think that's going to be kind of cool. I was thinking about that one day. I might get like a nice kind of case, some way to display these. And then just, like put my entire collection of Scream Factory 4K Steelbooks. And I'm getting, not a ton of them, but I am starting to build a sizable number of these, But now I got Piranha. I left the sticker on there because I just wanted to show you. It's like, man, these things are, when people sell these off, you can get these for like really, really dirt cheap prices, And if you could come across them pretty cheap, so I say pick them up. Well, if you're a Steelbook fan, if you're not, sorry, should have just waited to take this friggin' sticker off, but thought I'd show you what it looks like without the sticker. But I know, I was like, man, I mean, if I can still keep getting these at this kind of price, I'm going to keep doing it. It's like, why not? They got all these other ones, People Under the Stairs, and they got like the Howling and the Alligators. Like, yeah, I'll keep my eyes open. It's like, why not? There we go. All right. So there we go. That's what it looks like without the sticker on it. So, yeah, I think, thanks to $10 store credit and, only $5 out of pocket, I say why not? There you go. So there's a new one. And put this bad boy in the case there. Oh, man, sorry. I really don't mean to waste you guys' time. But there we go. Nice and protected. We now have Piranha, Scream Factory 4K Steelbook. So yeah, so I can't complain. That really does look nice. But yeah, so that's pretty much about it. That's everything I picked up so far, and I'm really happy with what I got. And so another one for my Scream Factory 4K Steelbook. Like I said, I've seen like a really nice case that you can put them in. It's got like a clear front so you can kind of display them and everything. I'm thinking about picking some of those up so I can put those in there. It's like, I think that's going to look really cool. So anyway, so yeah, to wrap up, we got the Piranha 4K Steelbook. We got Malum, which is, like I said, it's a remake of Last Shift. I do recommend picking up Malum, but I don't recommend, if you have Last Shift, hang on to Last Shift. It's still a good movie. You don't need to replace one with the other. In my opinion, you could have both. Got the wonderful soundtrack for Superman the movie. John Williams, great score. Finally, after all these years of getting, this Giallo off my list, got the Red Queen killed 7 times. And Collector's Vault Volume 2 of Looney Tunes. So yeah, I think I did pretty damn good considering. So yeah, and I got several things coming up here in the upcoming week, and probably the only downside though is probably won't be able to make a video about that for a few days because I gotta kind of wait for everything to come in. But Anyway, so got some ideas for other videos. So, you know, there's going to be more stuff coming. So, so that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, would you mind leaving a like? If you haven't already, please go and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell, all that good fun stuff that the YouTubers always say. And that's about it. You know, like I always say, love your movie library, and I'll love you back. And there you go. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. And I'll see you all later.